Can't believe we're doing this again.
I'm going to go 43, because I think it was 42 last week. I think it's just going to be like a running theme of the...
43.
Oh, first time I've been right in weeks.
Absolute professionalism. Episode 43.
Yeah, it's a bit of an eventful weekend with the UFC.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that a lot of people are going to talk about prior to the Usman Masvidal knockout, spoiler alert if you've not seen it. It's a little bit of
Jesus Christ.
It's going to be Wednesday when you hear or see this. No spoiler alert needed. Like, if you've not watched it, you've not watched it.
What the games?
But Chris Weidman's leg.
Oh, fucking hell.
Have you seen the still image where it's the Anderson Silva kick on Weidman versus the Weidman kick, and it's the breaks at pretty much the exact same point.
I mean, the crease in his skin on his leg, it's just disgusting. The weirder thing about it is it's a fairly freak accident for MMA.
Yeah.
And to happen on the guy who did it to the guy who was like the GOAT of the middleweight to lose his title, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't get my head around it when I saw the image.
I didn't believe it when someone told me. I saw the video and I was like somebody sent me they'd recorded it on the phone and been like, this is madness, but the guy who sent it me, he's massive on the UFC game, like he'll send me clips of him like knocking somebody out in the UFC games. I was like, that's a nice little upgrade, or it's a little glitch there, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I saw the replay, I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah. Well, because that was the other thing as well this weekend that's been different from all like the UFCs in the past couple of months, is having a full crowd again.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it was just in that little fight island that they've been doing with nobody in the background, you might have got fooled a little bit less, but just weird to have everybody back in the arenas as well. But I mean, it's just perfectly bad timing and placement.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying to me, oh, is it just because he's got like weak shins? I was like, that's not the case where you get that break, it's just bad placement. It's leverage and force, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the thinnest part of the bone on the leg.
Do you think there could be an argument for like a decrease in bone density within Chris Weidman for whatever reason?
Coming off TRT.
I mean, I was going to be like, but it could be a side effect if that's what he's doing.
Yeah, is he ever been one of those guys that's been even suggested that he's been?
I don't think he has. I was sort of weighing towards like changing training methods or cutting. Like if you go into that sort of extreme deficit, it's gonna structurally affect the body eventually.
Was the fight at middleweight or was it welterweight? He didn't come all the way down to that.
I think it was middle.
Yeah.
I think it was middle, yeah.
And he's a pretty big guy anyway, isn't he? I don't think he's the biggest guy making a cut down into middleweight, but he's getting older as well. I mean, how old is he now?
I'm going to say late 30s.
Can you imagine he was the same age that Anderson Silva did his?
That would be some kind of like we're in the Matrix kind of stuff.
Let's have a look.
But yeah, like I was looking at that and I was thinking, could it be like due to like just a decrease in bone density? Like, is he lifting as much? Is he running? Like all things that like would increase the bone density in the legs. Is he kicking much? Because he still needs to callus the bone, don't you? Well, especially if you've hit the heavy bag, it's going to strengthen the leg. Because for it to happen on the first kick of the body, first kick of the fight, was it the first strike even? I heard a bizarre statistic that said that he's the first fighter to win a UFC without throwing a single strike. I mean, it's a pretty cool stat to take away, to be fair. He's got the spinning heel kick and now that.
So I'm just trying to look at what age Anderson Silva was at the time, because Chris Weidman's 36 now.
I think Silva was in his 40s, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, I think.
Just trying to do
because the Silva one didn't surprise me, just like because he's got little twiglets for legs, to be honest, and he did test positive after that, which Wouldn't surprise me if he was on something prior to that anyway, allegedly. But
so the UFC that it was in 2013, and Anderson Silva's 46 now, which means it was
38.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close.
The similarities in the brain though is unbelievable. But what's also shocking about those injuries is it doesn't register immediately until the foot goes back down. Because if you've thrown leg kicks, it doesn't necessarily feel great to even land a leg kick if you catch it in the wrong spot. If it's on somebody's knee and they're doing a good job of checking it or something like that. Like leg kicks hurt both ways.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who watch the UFC who haven't been leg kicked, like they watch it and go, what's the issue on that? They don't think it's a powerful shot, but they wreck. And if you throw it and you catch somebody in the wrong spot, they kill as well.
Yeah.
So with something like that, for it not to register, it's probably that pain register there that they get from just throwing a kick anyway. But the snap, disgusting.
I'd say it was the second replay where you see him try to stand back on his foot, and it's still I know it's not a combine where it breaks the skin, but how the bone didn't go through the skin when his body went back onto it and the ankle just sort of disappeared.
What I always think of when I see these things, and I generally don't watch them because they're disgusting, is I had an Action Man figure when I was younger that the leg broke and the piece of plastic came through the skin, and it just reminds me of that every time I see stuff like this. It freaks me out, but it's like whenever there's a video on Instagram or YouTube of somebody using a leg press, I skip past it straight away because I don't want to see the video of somebody's legs hyperextended. I've seen it once, and it was a lady getting it. You must have seen it. It's the lady getting the induction in the gym.
She locks out, and the legs just go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that I've seen the same as you. And the rest of them are kind of like I've seen one, I've seen them all.
Yeah, I don't need to see more. Sometimes you're watching a bench press video as well, and you're like, has this guy got any business being under the bar? Is he going to do? Because I've seen videos of guys kicking the chest in with the barbell as well, and it's.
So with that the leg press video, have you sent it to clients to be like, this is why I keep saying to you, don't lock your legs out?
Yeah, like earlier on I did. Like when I was working in a commercial gym and I'd use a leg press a lot, I was like, right, okay, I'm telling you not to lock your legs out, but if you keep doing it, this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
If you've not seen it, I don't know what to, you should go Google on YouTube or whatever, but just...
Do you know what, for health and safety reasons, if you do use a leg press regularly and you're not aware of why you shouldn't lock your legs out and why there should still be a subtle bend in the knees so your muscles are active, search something like leg press gone bad, or I'm not sure, I can't remember the term, but it's been that long since I've looked for it. But purely for your own safety, I think you need to be aware of it.
We're not going to link that one in the description,
no,
because that'll mean we have to go and watch it, and I don't want to see it.
No, I think the unfortunate thing is, you know it, but the thumbnail has the legs bent backwards as well. Like, just give us a break, man. Nah.
That's worse than like starting a podcast and just immediately saying fight results at the beginning.
I mean, it was 3 days later.
Hi guys, welcome to the Grapplers Academy. Massive well, I've got fucking no time.
Yeah. To be fair, those are the only 2 results that I know from the card.
Did you not see the Naudi and Whaley?
Oh, I saw the results for that, but I watched the fight.
I heard he's already scored the fight, but like, sweet head kick.
Yeah.
What was interesting about that, and I've seen it making the rounds actually, is like Naudi Aguilar's build up to the fight, and when she was in the ring and Bruce Buffer giving the announcement, have you seen that?
No.
Through the whole announcement, she's there mouthing to herself, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, just over and over again while Bruce Buffer's doing their announcement. The whole time she's in the ring, and they clip back to some stuff in a training camp and in a room before the fight as well. She's like, I'm the best, I'm the best. Like that self-affirmation thing and positive confidence. Because like you all know, it can work both ways. Like you can talk yourself out of doing something, but the power of positive thought and having that goal in mind and driving towards it with 100% clarity. It's like Conor McGregor's the perfect example, isn't he? Somebody who's got 100% confidence in themselves, when they're actually applying themselves in the training as well, they become unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because they've got 100% belief and determination in what they're willing and capable to achieve.
No, definitely. You can sort of, another good example of that would be Rousey. And the only downside to it is when the inevitable sort of loss comes, it can be devastating for that person if they've not got the right people around them. So going back to Naudi Aguilar, she had quite an interesting story, to be fair, because she came through on tough, didn't she, at first?
There's a lot of surprising people that came through on tough.
Yeah, and I remember her start of the career was a little bit rocky, and then when she shaved her head, that was when it just changed for her.
The rose came out.
Yeah, and the positive affirmations started to come, the more self-belief, and she went on a tear. And then it was the Kimura knockout, which was that devastating loss for her. But she was fortunate enough to have it seemed that she got the right people around her who built her back up, allowed to give her that space that she needed, and sort of got her back on track. And now look at her again.
I think the difference between Rose and Conor McGregor, if we're going to use those as two polar opposites, is that she's not an egomaniac.
No.
And she's very humble, but very confident in her capabilities.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody who's a complete egomaniac, they're going to fall from a high, it's going to be a high fall if they do get knocked out or have a big loss. And that kind of, I know we've already said the result, but Masvidal was kind of riding on that high a little bit at the moment, wasn't he? But he's been very humble in defeat again. But more interestingly is like the casual MMA fans. I saw a funny meme about Toy Story where Andy throws his toys down. He's like, "I'm done with you."
No.
There's a bit of a meme that casual MMA fans now are just going to basically toss Masvidal aside because he's had a loss after kind of like riding that high, which is completely unfair because he's an amazing fighter.
Oh, of course, and he's got a string of amazing performances as well as amazing finishes.
Yeah.
Like, we were joking about Askren, I think we mentioned on the last pod with the Thanos meme floating, whereas Askren's collecting the sort of most notable knockouts on himself. And it's almost like Masvidal is collecting the giver of these knockouts. And I saw another meme recently. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed more than I should have. And it was it was sort of like the other 3-frame things where it's kind of like a conversation and then the final piece. And it was like Masvidal and Askren having a conversation about let's have a sleepover. And then the next frame was them both like in the knockout position. On a bed having a sleepover.
Well, that's I saw Askren had obviously been questioned about the Masvidal taking his knockout and loss, and he was like, "Do you think that's karma?" Well, the interviewer said, "Do you think that's karma?" And Askren was just like, "No, it's the fight game. If you fight for longer, the shit's going to happen."
Yeah.
And that's a perfect response as well. He's just been on the receiving end of another pretty crazy knockout that he didn't seem like he was that bothered about. Whether it was real or not.
I was going to say, are we going to buy into the...
It's a good way to make $500,000, isn't it?
If someone give me $500,000 and was like, do you know what? Take the L and you walk away with a little silent bonus. I'll be like, where do I sign up? Like, $500,000. Like, that's the biggest fight purchase I've ever received for 90 seconds work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why wouldn't they? The best comment I heard was Ben Askren turned up looking like a bag of milk. He didn't. It seems to me that Askren didn't care about that fight. He knew who he was facing. He knew that the other person is training to kill him. Askren's a wrestler, and let's be honest, his striking credentials didn't give him any right to be in that ring. He's an amazing fighter, I'm not taking that away from him, but he's not known for throwing hands. He's not known for having those good exchanges and knowing how to move. Now, if say it was Masvidal on the other side of it, and he had experienced the same knockout, I think the world's response would have been different.
Which punch was a better punch for the knockout? Usman on Masvidal or
Usman, because he actually connected. Like,
they were very similar. They were like just a wild overhand right.
Have you seen the slow-mo version of the Usman knockout? Like, the way he set it up, and he just rolled under Masvidal's counter.
So there was a couple from earlier on in the fight as well. I was watching the fight earlier, and he threw a couple of wild ones like that, and I missed. And it was funny to hear the commentary team be like, oh, you know, if he's got one weakness, it's his striking. He's sometimes a bit sloppy. Masvidal's like a top-level boxer, best boxer in the UFC. He throws a couple of wild ones and misses, and then he clocks him with this one and knocks him out. And then everyone's like, oh my God, like how, you know, Kamaru Usman can't improve. He's the ultimate. Joe Rogan's a bit up and down with his opinions, isn't he? Yeah. Knockout. He went limp immediately. Herb Dean let it go a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, fair credit to him as well. I think he did a good job with both stoppages on the Naudi Aguilar fight on that one. Sometimes they're a little bit early, but no, it was good. And just good to see, as weird as it looks, an arena full again for an event. Yeah,
that is true. Like, and thing is, it's hard to use America as a measuring stick for how we're recovering from COVID from last year, from the pandemic, because their numbers are still stupidly high.
Yeah.
So why is it happening?
I don't know, whatever. Fucking America.
But they're rules are all false.
Yeah. Just going back to Ben Askren there a second ago, like, people talk about how trash he is at boxing. He's a fucking Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, the level of skill and dedication it takes to get to the Olympics for wrestling is unbelievable, because they even joke that you know, to win the American national trials to go to the Olympics is harder than the competition in the Olympics, because they've got rooms full of killers, haven't they? It's the same in Russia. Like, the Russian national trials are ridiculous. So to actually get to the Olympics, for any sport for that matter, but for the high level competition that there is in wrestling in particular, it's an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
And you've got to be an amazing athlete for it. Like, look at everybody who's done it. You know, it's such a small percentage, and you know, if you pay attention to the American collegiate stuff, like, there's a lot of amazing wrestlers who aren't even getting an opportunity to go to the Olympics, that win NCAAs and all this sort of stuff.
I was watching the Burrows versus, I can't remember, it's like main rival.
Dake or David Taylor?
Dake. Got like their little documentary, and from what I could gather was the trials and the system to get onto the national team is heavily favoured towards the previous winner.
Yeah.
Like, they get a straight pass to the final, whereas all the contenders have to prove themselves to get to the finals. So it's kind of like, that's great, you want to sort of preserve who your best guys are, but that's not giving them the right drive to train to get in tournament shape when they know they're only going to turn up for one fight and when they've got to be fit for one fight.
Yeah.
Whereas the contenders, they could have 5 or 6 matches in the day and then go on to face the guy in the final who's fresh.
It's that balance between being like match ready and being overworked.
Yeah.
It works. They produce great wrestlers.
True.
And
Well, I think it's like you said though, there needs to be. Well, there doesn't need to be. It's not. If it was UK, you'd probably have a stronger opinion on it. But the system probably should change to give those up and comers a bit more of a opportunity to get onto the big stage.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, even if you've had to have a couple of fights, you know, you've still beat the guy.
Yeah.
On the day. So, and you know, when you go to a tournament, you might get an easier run through a tournament with, you know, being better seeded. So, and it kind of balances itself out, doesn't it? It is a difficult one to say. Like, it's not a sport that we're super familiar with in the UK because it's not part of our youth system, or
no.
I wish it was.
Yeah,
Be amazing, wouldn't it?
100%.
But like Kyle Dake for me is probably one of the most impressive athletes I've ever seen. Like the way that guy can move is unbelievable. He's got some really interesting training methodologies as well. But I've seen him start to do a little bit of boxing and pad work. And I've probably spoken about this before, but I always find it really interesting watching somebody who can move really well in a sport like wrestling, not be able to do pad work that great.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, like, you know, it's not just throwing hands. Like, there's a lot of skill in being able to move your body fluidly for throwing a punch and turning your hips over for a kick. It's interesting. There's a lot more to it than people give it credit for.
No, definitely. Like, even something as simple as throwing a 1-2, there's so much that goes into it. Like, I've got a very fundamental knowledge of it, and I'm by far from a decent boxer, but I know the mechanics of the movement, and it is difficult. Like, to throw and land a correct 1-2, it's a tough thing to actually do.
Yeah. It's good. That one thing that I saw in the video is actually, like, when you do like a block from a hook or something like that, you know, the thing that you always teach is like not to look away or take your eyes off your opponent, and it was just bad teaching. So he was padding but like turning away like this, and I just hate it when I see stuff like that. Like, I don't, he's training with that functional patterns guy. I don't think the best out of his striking when I see it. He's not bad, but he's not good, and then he's teaching other athletes this is how to do pad work. They can't really do it very well, and that's what I've got an issue with, because he's such an arrogant prick in terms of, like, I don't know whether you follow him, but he's like basically my method or no method. My method or no method, basically. And then he's teaching like shitty technique for pad work to a high level athlete. Like, just Kyle Dake, go and do yourself a favour and go and learn some proper boxing or something else.
Yeah, go to a boxing coach and let them teach you the boxing. He might be able to help you move better and get stronger in the movement.
No doubt.
But you don't learn how to box from somebody who's never boxed.
They're both human movements.
Yeah.
But it's not the same thing. Like,
it's like going to a rugby coach and saying, "Oh, can you make me a professional footballer?"
Yeah, exactly.
They might be able to teach you how to kick a ball, but they're not going to teach you how to get to the high level.
So if you ask, like, if people are, this is directly to Kyle Dake, who's not listening to this podcast. go and learn off of the people who are the experts in the field.
It wouldn't surprise me if there is a former Golden Gloves boxer within the area, or someone who's coached numerous high-level boxers. Like, you don't need to have the Freddie Roach or someone who's like elite tier. You just need someone who's spent a decade in boxing, whether they've coached or participated in it, will be able to get you to a very, very good level.
Yeah.
Anybody who spent 5 years in the sport could probably get you to a very, very good level. It just needs the right amount of coaching, because that functional patterns guy, like, a few years ago, that was about 5, 6 years ago, he put a video up and I put a comment on one of his posts saying, what's the purpose, basically asking, what's the purpose for this? Like, can you explain it and justify me why you're doing it this way as opposed to this way? Pretty much your question, like, getting a discussion from practitioner to practitioner, and I got blocked. Like, straight up blocked, no reply. So I messaged him and I was like, why did you block me? Like, I was asking a genuine question. I'm actually interested. If you look, I've followed your page for a while.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your concepts and the theory behind why you've done this. No answer. I was like, I'm probably getting loads of messages. The next day I got an answer. He's like, you come on to criticise my work. Then I'm like, no, I've come to question your methodology. Like, anybody who actually knows what they're doing is going to question something before they apply it.
Yeah, you were coming at it from a point of view of learning.
Yeah.
Not attacking him.
No.
And it was pissed him off.
I don't know.
I'm
still blocked.
That one post. That's why you can't see the video. I'll show you the video afterwards so you can see. So you don't feel like you're missing out.
Like, I remember seeing him like tell somebody, oh, if you can't stand on yoga ball, like you're gonna have really poor core strength, and it's like unless like standing on an unsteady surface isn't that functional unless you're gonna go to work in a bouncy castle. Like
I 100% agree.
If you spend all day on a solid surface, why are you practicing on a inflatable ball how to stand?
Because it's functional.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. You probably feel the same way.
I'm trying to line you up. I'm trying to.
I know, you can see it. I'm like, oh.
This is a whole other podcast in of itself. But what people's perception of what functional training is so far beyond what actual functional training is. Functional training or functional fitness should be something that aids you in doing the thing that you do on a daily basis, whether that's play a sport or the job that you're doing.
Or it could be as far as looking better.
Yeah.
If you want bigger biceps, a bicep curl is a functional exercise.
Yeah.
Because it's an exercise that serves a function, not fucking dancing on a yoga ball because while doing pulleys and potentially breaking your neck.
It's like what the classic thing that comes with the bracket of functional fitness is like tyre flipping, hitting a tyre with a sledgehammer. TRX gets put in that functional bracket a lot, and I don't have any issue with any of those bits of kit, and I use them frequently but sparingly with all of my clients. It's not functional unless you work on a farm and you need to move heavy machinery around all day like a tyre. You work in a car garage. There is no job that I can think of, except from a gymnast, unless you're doing something different, that requires you to be suspended in the air in a TRX.
Yeah.
So they're not the be-all and end-all.
No.
That isn't functional fitness. Doing something that improves your day-to-day life quality, or ability to play your sport, or ability to live your life and get up out of bed without pain in the morning is functional.
Yeah.
So simple as that. Like, don't get caught up in the functional fitness fake shit. It's not what people sell it as.
No. Like you say, so as to have another example, like having a ledge that's probably similar height to a car boot and lifting a heavy-ish, relatively heavy object into it, lifting it out, that's probably functional for most people. Or farmers' carries, like carrying your shopping. Like,
You're going to say what I'm going to say in a minute. The most functional sport is strongman.
Yeah. Because you're carrying a heavy, awkward object for a period of time, for a distance, or for speed or something. Like, you can't get any more functional than strongman.
It's very functional.
Yeah.
Deadlift is a very functional movement. Bicep curl is a very functional movement. Like, think about how you pick your gym bag up off the floor. It's basically a bicep curl and a deadlift.
Yeah.
Like, to get it up onto your shoulder. Drop in the comments and argue with me all day about that. I'll quite happily sit in the comments and argue with you about
100%.
a bicep curl being functional. Like, for a jiu-jitsu player, a leg extension machine is pretty functional.
Yeah.
If you play butterfly guard.
100%. Thing is though, for anybody who's got weak, or problematic knees, leg extension, hamstring curl are functional because they're going to strengthen the structures around the knee to make it less dysfunctional.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rehabilitative exercises that, any exercise that you get from a physio that is to rehabilitate you from an injury with scaled intensity is perfectly good to be a working exercise.
Yeah.
Like, the purpose of a physio rehabilitation exercise is to strengthen a muscle and group of tendons.
Yeah.
So I would just make it more challenging if you want to progress on with that. So then it's prehab on any future injuries, but also getting all the muscles and tendons stronger that you need to do for everything else.
Exactly.
So, there we go. Knowledge bomb.
That's pretty much like a whole episode wrapped up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we could talk about it for a whole episode. We did
Fairly
it
fun,
5
to be fair.
So I don't even know what we were talking about before. Some shithead teaching shitboxing.
That's the one, Mr. Functional Boxer. What I would love to see is Mr. Functional get in the boxing ring with Jake Paul.
I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that.
The build-up would be amazing.
The fucking shit talk.
Yeah, because they're both that arrogant and narcissistic, where they actually believe their own hype.
Yeah.
And you'd see him walking in with his chest pushed out, shoulders pinned back, which, by the way, isn't the perfect posture.
Are you talking about Jake Paul?
Both of them coming out like the masculine man meme.
I think people should go back to some bare knuckle, like old school boxing. And what I do want to see though, I don't know what happened on it, but DC squaring up to Jake Paul. I just want to say, he said some shit, and basically DC turned around and said something to the words of effect of, "Don't fucking mess with me, because I'll knock you out right now."
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Like, although I think DC can take a bigger punch, more so because once I figured out the weight that Askren fought at, it's cruiserweight, wasn't it?
What was the weight difference between them?
Well,
because that was a criticism.
cruiserweight's 100 kilo, right? Close to 100 kilo.
Wow.
So Askren's come up from welterweight to fight someone who competes in a 100 kilogram bracket.
So that's why he didn't come weight.
Yeah, that's why he could be looking like a bag full of milk.
Fair play. I did that for half a minute.
But yeah, like I said, like he's just in happy retirement. I think DC can take a punch better than him, especially from a heavier guy.
DC can throw some hands.
Exactly. And DC, I think, won't shy away from dumping him on his head if he starts to trash talking a bit too much.
Yeah, I wanted to see a bit more clinch work in that fight, but
I think the referee would have been on it, though, to stop it.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, they're all being paid by Triller, and the Paul brothers are Triller's little nest eggs to keep their income quite high.
The thing is, though, for me, like I love boxing and it's amazing, but it kind of goes to show the state of boxing where this bullshit circus is the most exciting thing that's happening in the sport. Like you don't get this in the UFC or the MMA community. Like nobody's interested in watching two bums fight each other.
No.
Like why is this happening in boxing where this is the most exciting thing that's going on?
I think it's more to do with their actual online presence. So it's because it all started off with KSI and Logan Paul wants it, and they've got millions and millions of fans. So you could probably say that they've beyond 20 million fans combined. Now you charge those 20 quid each to watch the fight, and these are die-hard fans who would probably sign in and watch their videos every week or every day whenever they watch it. That's a lot of money to be made. Now, those two hyped it up, got media attention, brings in more fans, and then off the back of that, others have copied the formula, but obviously it's less now, aren't they? So I can see the reason why. What I don't see is why it's continuing now. I think this is probably what you were getting onto.
Yeah, like you think, you know, and it is that fandom sort of thing, isn't it? You know, if these fans genuinely had an interest in boxing, the more fans of the people and competing, and it's like a spectacle, not like we actually enjoy boxing.
No.
Because the people who actually enjoy boxing are probably training boxing to some degree as well. I think there's probably less people who train boxing who watch boxing than there is who train MMA, don't watch MMA, except for the UFCs, because they're just massive transcendent events, but I just find it bizarre. It's not interesting to watch.
No.
The fights are crap. I'd rather see something.
Do they put like actual boxes on the undercard?
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing.
Like,
Do you know what I'd like to see actually? It is a pretty good match. I don't think that'll ever happen, but I'd like to see Brendan Sharp get back in the ring and fight one of the Logan or Jake Paul brothers. But they're homies, aren't they? They did the food truck thing together, so that's never going to happen. Well, that's a pretty decent fight.
yeah.
As good as any of the rest of them.
I just want to see Ngannou get in there and take one of the heads clean off.
Can you imagine?
That would be really enjoyable to watch.
DC never fought Ngannou, did he? It's one of those matches where I don't know whether it happened or not. And if it did, DC must have won.
Yeah, I feel like it did. I think DC won.
Did he wrestle fucking?
Yeah, pretty much. It went similar. I'm probably getting, is it the Mandela effect it's called? Where they sort of like remember something a certain way. And I'm pretty sure if it didn't happen, it's definitely the Mandela effect, if that's what it's called. If I'm getting it wrong, put it in the comments and I'll correct myself. But it went a similar way to Stipe and the first Ngannou fight, where kind of like out-wrestled him, tired him out and beat him.
The thing is though, now the scary thing is if DC did fight him, or anybody fought him earlier, it looks like he's got a decent enough counter wrestling now not to get taken down and just throw bombs.
That sprawl on Stipe to stop him, the stuff that taken down, and that was like watching someone who's wrestled for a long time. Like the reaction time of it and
that's a proper
the direction he went. Yeah.
The hips out, the turn in the corner, like I bet Stipe was like, fuck.
Yeah, like my bum would have been twitching if I was Stipe going, this guy, I can't get him down. There's no way I'm going to be able to strike him. He's too dangerous to stand in front of.
Yeah.
Like, him not having the title was probably just a countdown because he just needed to catch up to the wrestlers, because standing in front of him, no matter how good your boxing is, unless you can have more power than him, you're not gonna beat him.
I'm keen to see how anybody in the heavyweight division beats him.
Now I do think Pride Uberim beats him.
That's my favourite fighter of all time.
But I think that's just down to having more tools. So there's kickboxing. Like I don't think he would have stood there and boxed with him, but he would have absolutely destroyed his legs, destroyed the body.
Knee to the gut.
Yeah.
Pride over him is my favourite superhero of all time.
Yeah, it just comes out with a massive ooh.
God, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
The way he put Brock Lesnar down. I don't know
That
if you
body,
guys seen
yeah.
it. Jesus Christ. Pride days. And K1 over him as well. I know we talk about K1 sometimes on there. But like, goddamn, that was some good fights.
It's scary. Really scary. Yeah. We'll stop rambling on at the end of that.
Let's stop taking each other off about over it.
Who do you think, put in the comments below who you think has a chance to beat Ngannou? At the meet at the moment, I don't think anybody's there.
We're in the same camp. It's going to have to be somebody with
Shane Carwin style build.
Yeah, just a juggernaut basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar needs to come back on all the steroids, and Dana White just needs to like let's make this happen.
Yeah, but I still think Ngannou's going to decapitate Brock Lesnar.
Steroid, cocaine, John Jones.
I can't see how John Jones beats him, because I don't think he's going to be able to get into knock him out, so he get into take him down. But I can
Has
see
he been submitted?
Yeah, he's got to a bit.
No, he's just scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. But yeah, make sure you hit us up at the Grapplers Academy on all social media. Make sure you get in the comments on all the technique videos. Let us know what you want to see. Follow the Bonafide PT, coached by Sai, and we'll see you next week.